Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guy, Zollin Ironshield, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about the new legendary servers. Are things shutting down in LOTRO? Are we getting new servers? Are we having to transfer? What's happening? Okay, that's the things I've been seeing in the world chat. So I'm making this video to give you guys some peace of mind. This is all positive stuff happening. There is going to be a little bit of stuff you will have to do from what we know. We don't have a ton of information. We do have a decent amount, and I'm going to try to give it to you quickly in this video. And then I'm going to talk about it near the end of the video to my kinship members and what it might hold for us with that. But again, stay tuned. I will have another video in a week or so because Cordovan, the media manager for Lord of the Rings Online, did a wonderful interview with one of their engineers and talked about all this in detail. It's an hour long. I'm going to link it in the description for you. But I'm going to break it down real quick to some of the things you'll want to know right off the bat and to kind of debunk a little bit of the hearsay, misinformation, telephone being told through 5-6 people, and then it gets a little bit out of proportion. People are like freaking out that there's like something like, oh no, they're going to shut down servers and all this stuff. Maybe. It depends. There's a few reasons with things. Their goal is they would like everybody, okay? And the Cordovan explains this. Again, go straight to Cordovan. Watch his video if you want. You can do that. Again, I'd love it if you'd watch this video and leave a like and, subscribe. Sweet. I'll be covering more stuff on this later. And again, we do lots of Lord of the Rings on this channel. But particularly, you need to go straight to listen straight to what they said. Because there's a lot of hearsay, and I'm going to do my best to directly tell you what Cordovan said in that video, okay? In a shorter form, after I watched the entire video. So the main thing you have to know about is servers. So let me bring this up. You need a visual aid. Okay, so now we have a visual aid. These are all the servers that are up right now, all right? We need some terminologies explained real quick or you guys are going to get confused because some of you are probably thinking, didn't we already have 64-bit servers that just got released like a year ago? Yes, but they were legendary servers, okay? They kind of used them as a test, Angmar and Mordor. Legendary servers, let's just get them out of the way because they're kind of irrelevant to this conversation. But legendary servers, as you all know, are progression servers. All right. Maybe you're new, you don't know this, but you have to be a VIP, a subscriber to the game. You can't be free to play. And you have to, and when you join it, they give the next expansion or level cap slowly over time. All right. That's Treebeard, Angmar, and Mordor. Okay. That's legendary servers. Angmar and Mordor have a special a bit thing that happens inside with wraith battles and stuff and things that attack you randomly in the server. That will not be the case with the new servers. Keep that in mind. Good side note. Also, Angmar is, again, American. Mordor was the very first ever European server dedicated in Europe, as in the server bank was in Europe. All right? Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the original servers, okay? I'm going to say normal servers, okay? Normal 32-bit are all the servers we have right now. The ones that are coming out that people are like exploding about with information, everyone's wondering what's going on, are the new 64 servers that will be the dedicated, pretty much the new best thing, which are going to be amazing. But I'll talk about how cool they are at the end. Let's get the details out of the way. We have 2 new servers coming for NA, 2 new servers coming for Europe. They will both be dedicated. So the 2 new European servers will be dedicated in Europe, like the Mordor Legendary one. But these are going to be regular servers. Max level right when they start, just like you would transfer between any of the other original 5 servers. US servers right now are Arkenstone, Brandywine, CrickHollow, Gladen, and Landreval. They're going to encourage people to transfer to the new 64-bit normal servers. These are the 32-bit, all the ones you see here. The 64 aren't even on this list yet, but I do know their names. So for North America, we're going to have a regular server and a roleplay server. Now, roleplay, all that means is it's just there to let people know that that server is supposed to be for roleplay. It doesn't necessarily change anything about the servers. They're pretty much identically the same. Okay? Like Landerval, a lot of people do roleplay on that in music and stuff, but it's not necessarily means that there's something different about it from Gladen, CrickHollow, Brandywine, Arkenstone, besides the fact that they're trying to aim to do that as a group, right? Okay, keep that in mind. So we have the Glamdring will be the North American regular classic server that will be 64-bit. That's what's coming soon. And Meriadoc will be the roleplay server for the American side, okay? And technically they will both be 64-bit, both regular servers, right at max level. There's nothing that you can be free to play. Anyone can join them, and they will make it, everyone can freely transfer to them. For the European side, for the European servers, now a little side note, you might already know this, but the European servers here are actually not dedicated server banks in Europe. Only the Mordor one was. But now, the 2 new European ones coming out, which is going to be Orcrust, will be their normal 64 server. And then again, their other normal one, but it'll be roleplay, will be Peregrine. Okay? You see the parallels there, right, with the naming. I like the naming. But these 5 servers will be encouraged to join those 2 new servers. And those will all be dedicated in Europe. Now, little side note that this is really important to know, that European people on these servers will only be able to transfer characters to the European servers. And the same thing with the North Americans, 5 servers will only be able to transfer to the 2 new North American servers. Okay? That is because there's this thing that Cordovan and the engineer was talking about, that basically there's some tag things on both sides, and they wanted to be able to let people cross over and do stuff, but it just wouldn't quite work. Okay? Another thing that's important to remember is that the reason they're not just porting everyone over to these servers is because there are millions of characters over the last 17 years that haven't been used in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and they don't want all those names to just be taken up. So let's talk about names, all right? Also, a little side note, Angmar, Treebeard, and Mordor, they plan to be the left alone, okay? Now, they did say, after about a year, here's where the shutdown server thing, I think some people are freaked out about this. Let me just explain it. If everybody has moved to the new 64-bit servers, right, which again are going to be able to hold massive amounts of players compared to the old 32-bit, they're leaps and bounds faster. It's amazing. So it's not that, I wouldn't be very clear. This isn't something like, oh, the population of LOTRO is getting smaller, so we're condensing it onto 2 servers. No. This is, the technology has improved that these 2 new servers can hold more players than the other 5 old ones combined, whichever one, North America or Europe. Okay? And the best part is, more of us will be able to play together, right? We won't have as much cross-server thing. There'll only be 2 servers on the North America, and there'll be only 2 servers on the EU. And then, of course, we will still have legendary servers. They will progress as normal. Now, what they were saying about at the end of the year, what they're hoping is most people will move to these new servers because they're going to make it free to move your stuff. Now, keep in mind that you can move when you transfer characters, it'll be the same as you normally would transfer between servers. You choose your characters you want to move, and then you also choose your shared storage if you want your shared storage and your wardrobe to move to that new server. Okay, it's like a separate entity from your characters. Your characters will have their vault transfer with them and their inventory and them and all their gear on them, right? That kind of stuff. When it comes to houses, you want to, I believe, take this with a grain of salt, I'll give more on this in my next video. I believe you will want to keep your premium house, because when you move that character with the premium house is connected to, it will automatically be sold, and those rights will be in your inventory so you can buy a new house. Okay? With the regular houses, usually if you sold, what would happen is those items should move to the broker at the new house location on the new server. But I would personally just take all your items out of your house, put them in your inventory, or put them in your vault, and then maybe sell it if it's one of the regular houses. I'm just saying the regular 4 neighborhoods. But if it's a premium, you don't want to do that. You might want to take your items out, but let it automatically, when you move your character, give you the rights. Now, kinships, whoever the kinship leader is, when they move, the kinship will be removed off other people, and you'll get a little thing in their inventory, and they'll be able to click that thing, and it will basically reinstate the kinship there on that server, as long as no one's like taken the name or something. Now let's talk about the name thing, okay? They really wanted to make it very clear to you guys to not panic and not worry about the name thing. They're going to do a couple different things here, okay? They are going to basically, with the first day, right before when it launches, anyone who's a VIP, a subscriber, will have only 3 slots will pop up for them on that server with characters. So you can make 3 characters to kind of hold 3 names. Now, they're aware, this is just pick your favorite 3, but they're aware that you're going to move lots of characters. So they're going to give you the option to move like tons of your characters there. The only limit will be later, the next day, once you can transfer everything, will be how many slots are on your server. So let's say you're trying to move, you have 20 slots, so that means every server you log into will have 20 character slots. Well, if you have 20 characters on one server and 5 characters on another server, now you have the problem of moving 25 and you only have 20 on your account. right? So they said they might try. They weren't promising, but they might try to add extra character slots to the new server to kind of help with that for people who have multiple characters across multiple servers. So that's just important information to remember. And then once you move your stuff and you transfer, the same thing with the kinship, they're going to have customer service if someone does grief and take a name or something. That really shouldn't happen. Come on, LOTRO community. That's not going to be happening, right, guys? Overall, that shouldn't be happening. But for example, if you had a character that's max level with a name and you get there and you moved your character and you get that little -1, which by the way, they're going to give a free rename thing too to people. So if that happens, if you ever get the -1, you'll automatically get an item in your inventory to rename. So just wait, don't use the item, and then talk to the customer service. If you're a level 150 with that name and someone made a new character and they were level 1 and their account never had a history of that name, they're clearly going to give you your name. That's what they explained, okay, in their little thing. You can go watch their full description of that. Same thing with kinship names. So as much as that could be a little bit nerve-wracking, considering there's 5 servers merging into one, I don't think that many names are going to cross, really. And also, I'm sure some will occasionally have something that happens, but I don't think it's something you like totally stress out over, because they're clearly trying, and they said they were trying to think of the best way to do this with names to make it fair. And they also don't want to just port everyone over, because then you're going to be taking up literally millions of names that people who don't play anymore, right? Because we have probably, let's say on average, we have somewhere between 50, 100, 150,000 active players who might all have 2 or 3 characters. So we're talking like 450,000 names, right? That's a lot. But what if you brought in, you want to bring in another 5 million from all these old accounts that no one plays on anymore, right? So that's what they're kind of doing. They're also going to open up dark worlds. Okay, this is another important thing to know. Dark worlds are basically worlds that were shut down back in 2008. If you guys remember, I used to be on Firefoot. Firefoot's not here on the list anymore. That used to be a server. There were a lot more servers. So they're going to open up some of those for some of them, not all of them. 1 or 2 they can't, they said, but some of them, so people can go on there if they had their character locked away forever, right? So they still have that information. I know my one friend and cousin both said that they were on a server back in the day with me, Firefoot, and they can't get to it. So now they'd be able to go get their character and move it to the new server for free. So that's really cool. They're doing that as well. And with that, we've covered a lot of different subjects. Please leave your comments if you have questions. Also, go watch the Cordovan video down there. I'll link in the description. He gives you even more details on all this stuff, but I condensed it into this a few minute video because I just want to tell my community and talk to you guys, because I could tell people were really getting freaked out in the world chat, and I was just like, it's a good thing, guys. So let me just talk about the 64-bit servers a little bit now. I'm trying to remember if there's anything important I need to tell you guys right now here for the servers. Again, I told you the names. The American ones are going to be, again, Mariodoc will be the roleplay server that's the 64-bit classic, or not classic. I don't like the word classic because other games use that normal server. And then, of course, Glamdring. That'll be like the normal, regular 64-bit server. And they're hoping that everyone on Arkenstone, Brandywine, CrickHollow, Gladen, and Landerval will move to those 2 servers and pick which one you want. Okay? To my kinship, I have not picked yet. I will have separate information to tell you that later. We'll decide that later. European servers are going to be Orc Crust. It's a 64-bit classic server. And so is Peregrine. Okay? This is the roleplay version. They're hoping that these 5 servers will merge into those 2 servers. Again, they said at the end of the year, they're going to look at these servers and their populations on the shutdown stuff, okay? They're going to look at their populations, and basically what they're going to do is, if there's still a ton of people playing on some of these servers, let's say like Arkenstone or CrickHollow or something still has hundreds and hundreds of players that log in every day. They said they'll keep them up. They'll keep running them. But the problem is they're going to start encouraging. So if, let's say a server has 10 people logging in a day now, they're going to try to encourage those 10 people to move over to the new one. And then they may basically say, okay, this server is going to get shut down, right? That's what people were freaking out about. But this would be at the end of the end-ish of this year. Once they look at that and see how many people have moved and stuff. Again, at a certain point, all of these servers that you're seeing here are all 32-bit on the left. These 10 servers on the left side, they will all, at a certain point, not work on Windows. because they'll have to be like back upgrading the servers to make them run on Windows. And that's going to be a problem. So they're trying to get into the future, get into the new tech, and it's going to be better for all of us as players. It's going to be a good thing. This is a good thing. It's a little stressful, I get it, but it's I don't think it's going to be stressful as some people are thinking, and it's going to be a good thing. It's kind of hard to sometimes leave your server world with the name and stuff. I felt that with Firefoot a long time ago, but you have to remember, guys, the world will look identical. It'll be the exact same place, but it will run way better. There will be way less lag. There will be way more people you can do stuff with all the time and be in the dimensions and the world walking around with. There will be way more room for more people to come and join in the server, right? Because the system will be way faster. 64-bit is just, it's like exponentially faster than 32 if you know about computers. It's insane how it's like, it's exponential. It's crazy. But it's going to be really exciting. So it's very, very exciting. And I think it's going to be really, really cool. And again, here on the channel of Voice of the Rings, I really support LOTRO because the devs do a great job, and I really think it's a fantastic, fantastic game. They made a comment for the European servers that people with the language, French, German, the different languages, that what they're going to try to do is try to make a new chat thing where they'll have different general chats for the different languages. Of course, you guys, they'll still all be on the same server, right? Just a little side note there. And again, I'd like to point out to everyone who plays in my Kinship who's in European servers, they did make a comment that they think since they're moving the dedicated new American servers to Las Vegas, which isn't totally the West Coast, but it's closer than it was in the middle. They said a comment that maybe there might be more ping if you play from Europe because of that distance increase. But I personally think the fact that the servers will be 64-bit and so little lag will be happening, that it will probably be better. It'll make up for it. So like, you know, if the ping was this bad with the 32 slow server, and then they move the distance, right? So, now it's a little worse. But that server is now 10 times better with ping. It might not matter with the distance. Does that make sense? We'll see. It depends a lot on where you live and what your connections are to the greater connection of the world internet, right? There's bottlenecks that happen in the internet. So if you're someone who lives in a big city, who has a great connection straight to the ocean lines and with the fiber optic cables that are shooting signals at the speed of light, and then it has a good connection somewhere in America, right to it through New York or whatever, it still will probably be really fast. But we don't know that. Take that with a grain of salt. I have no idea. I'm just assuming. I could be totally wrong on that. But I'm hoping so because I really love it of our European friends in our Kinship and my viewers here on the channel. You still want to play with us on the new server Glamdring or whichever one we choose, Glamdring or the other Meriadoc. You're welcome to play with us still. Granted, you'll also be able to still make characters on the European servers. You just still won't be able to switch characters from European servers to the American ones. Though, that might change with the 64-bit ones, but with these older ones, the 32-bit servers won't be able to do that. So I think we've really covered that. We did it in like 18 minutes. That's really good. I'm trying to think if there's anything really important. We talked about the names. We talked about the servers. We talked about the kinships and transferring and housing real fast. Yeah, again, his video's right down there. I just want to say to my kinship now real quick. And again, this is to anyone who's watching on the channels. I will be covering this more. I obviously as guild leader, kinship leader of our kinship. And I will let you guys know ahead what we decide. I need more information. I'm going to make an updated video on this when Cordovan gives us a written out information. He's going to give us like dates and things are going to happen and stuff like that. That'll be out in the next week or so after this video's gone live. Basically, I made this video the day after it was really getting publicized, this whole stuff with what's going on. So it's really exciting, and I hope to help advertise this for them. I am not being sponsored to do this and all. But I really do appreciate the Standing Stones team. They do a really, really good job, and I really want to help support that and get that message out on what's going on. And I also don't want my community on CrickHollow or any of the other servers to feel stressed on this. And Cordovan definitely was trying to make sure people didn't feel stressed because it's an exciting thing. This is a good thing. Sure, it's going to be a little challenging with the name thing, but overall, I don't think the name thing will be a large issue. I think that the server is going to be so much more fun. The 64-bit, just some things I noticed when I played on the Legendary server, which they were using to kind of test the Angmar and Mordor for these new ones. I noticed that the loading times of things in the distance, like when, things will just pop up in LOTRO in the distance, and it kind of takes me a little bit out of the immersion when the tree disappears, or boop, boop, boop. They're just instantly there on 64-bit. That's one thing I immediately noticed when it came to visuals. I was like, nothing's popping up. They're just there when I walk up, right? There's no like effect of it appearing into the distance. There it is. When you walk up, there's a tree, right? And I know that seems really dumb and not really like a big deal, but as someone who's played this game since it came out, and since I was a very wee dwarven lad, I can tell the difference. It's pretty drastic. And they've been doing a lot to do updates over the time. I mean, obviously the 32-bit servers have been working way better than they did 6-7 years ago, with lag and stuff. But clearly this 64-bit is going to be leaps and bounds increase. And remember, LOTRO at this time, from what I've seen, is the population is growing of the game, which is great. We have a hard, solid base of players. Wonderful, but we have so many new players all the time, and I get that being a content creator that makes guides and videos, right? I see it in my comments. I see people saying, oh, I just came to LOTRO from this game. I really like LOTRO, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know this game was so cool. I didn't know it existed, things like that, comments. So people are growing, and that's great, and like growing into the community's growing for that. And just like here on this channel, the community is growing as well, even though it is separate, but there's a lot of crossover because we do a lot of LOTRO content on here, here on Voice of the Rings. So anyway, again, one last thing to my kinship members for this video is that I will let you know, I will be giving you the announcements on what we're doing. So don't feel panicked. No one else say anything. I will be talking to some of our other officers, but I will make the overall decisions and make the announcements. I'll make an announcement on Discord, which you can join down there. Subscribe and like this video. It'd be wonderful. That will give you, if you're not subscribed already, that will give you you'll see the next video I make in a few days once we have more info on this than what I gave you. And I will also make sure to let you guys know for my kinship in kinship mail. We'll let you know. I know that might come from like Mr. Hammer. We're going to talk. He might be able to send that out for you guys, or I will. But I will let you know in Discord and everything when this gets closer in a few weeks and what we end up deciding to do. Okay? I am tending, just so you guys know, I am tending to lean towards what the Standing Stones would like us to do, and the LOTRO team, is I would like to move to one of the new NA servers. We'll have to pick NA since we're all playing on an NA server of CrickHollow anyway. I would like to personally move because I think it'll be very exciting. We'll have so many people, will be really fun. CrickHollow has a pretty big population already, but it'll be really fun to see a lot of our servers mesh to have even more, and that we can all play and run around without lag. It's going to be really fun. It doesn't mean there's going to be no lag at all, but they said one of the things that's going to really help is that the lag will be severely removed. But one thing with the new 64-bit that'll help is they'll be able to identify easier what is causing lag, because they'll have this brand new system with all the stuff that used to make lag from the 32-bit servers gone, and then they'll be able to analyze and go, okay, this is causing lag. We can remove that. This is, things like that. And also the new 64-bit server, the mind is so much faster. I was talking about exponentially faster, that they can make more dedicated mini servers built around the main server. So like, the player versus monster player zone can have a dedicated server, and then Gondor can have a dedicated server, things like that, which will help cause the system to be able to run and with all the people walking around the world with no issue. Very exciting. Again, that's how it worked before, but again, it's like exponentially faster. I'm not going to say a number because I don't know, but it's a lot. 32 is much smaller than the 64-bit systems, which we're going to get. Little side note with Monster Play, I remember someone told me I don't know this 100% for sure, but you're going to have to pick one of your Monster Play characters. So let's say, my point is, if you have a warg on 2 different servers and one's higher ranked than the other, I would move the higher ranked one. But you're only going to be able to have one warg on the new server, because they're all locked as in one racial character. One warg, one spider, one, war cheat leader, that kind of thing. So I don't think most people would really have focused too much on Monster Play on multiple servers, having tons of ranks on multiple servers. But, I mean, just pick your highest rank, right? And then pick your favorite name out of the 3. It's a little hard with the name thing, but it makes sense with how the Monster Play system works. It's not the main dedicated thing for LOTRO, but it is really fun. And Monster Play Zone will be very fun when we only have 2 servers. And we'll have I'm excited about that. I'm gonna do player versus monster player again. I don't know about you guys, but that will help revive that as well, even more than it already is. It's been more lately because they've done updates, but it'll be really awesome. But again, thank you for listening. We did that in 25 minutes there. Have a great, wonderful day in Middle Earth. I wanted to make this really fast and talk about it. There's nothing else super. If you have a question I didn't answer, leave it in the comments. I'll probably look at that, study it for when I make the next video in the next week or two, once Cordovin puts out that post to the community on the details of everything. So with that, I hope you have a great and wonderful day in Middle Earth, my friends. It's going to be fun. It's all good stuff. Okay. I'm very excited about it personally. I think it'll be very fun. I think it's going to help. One thing is that I've been a little bit complaining about the last few years about, I wish there was some like cross server systems you could do, like, with like instances or something to find people. Well, now there's only going to be 2 servers for NA, 2 servers for Europe. There's going to be so many more players in those servers that it's going to be just like that. Like you're playing with everybody, and that'll be really exciting. I'm really excited about that. That's something that's, been on my mind for a while, that I'm like, I really hate the whole like, oh, I'm on this server, oh, I can't play with you guys, right? That kind of thing. It's going to be less of that, right? Because there's only going to be 2 North American and 2 Europe servers. Now, again, if you play in Europe, obviously, you still wouldn't be, it's still going to be 4 servers in total, and then there'll be the legendaries that are still running in the back, right? The legendary servers, but the regular 64-bit, that'll be the 4 main ones. But that'll be a lot better, because it's going to be it's a 50-50 then for North America, right? And a 50-50 for Europe, instead of a 1 out of 5 that you're on the same server as other people. So just stay tuned for that. And if you're someone who's had main characters on one of the NA servers, and you want to come play with Gus, and you don't have a kinship, and you want to play with Voice of the Rings kinship, I mean, I'll be letting everybody know. I'll make a video about it, so you can see which one we choose to go to, and of the NA servers. I'm tending to lean towards Glamdring, just because it'll probably have the most people with the name recognition, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't do roleplay really, kind of thing. But again, remember, you can do roleplay on that one, and also vice versa. You could still do normal stuff on the roleplay Meriadoc. So Meriadoc might be really great. I wonder if bands will go to that. I'm curious what people will decide with that. I almost thought it would have been a good idea to just have one single server, but I think they wanted to have a dedicated roleplay server, because some people really like that title on the server, even though it doesn't actually affect what's in the game. But it tells people that, oh, we're supposed to be trying to roleplay names and what we're doing, which is fun. Which, by the way, we do anyway at my kinship for fun. But we also just like to chill and do regular things as well in LOTRO, being just instance and hanging out and talking and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, it's fun. Very excited. Very excited. I think it's going to be all great. I think it's going to really bring people together. I think we're going to have, it's going to feel like the community is just going to be massive. And that makes me really excited as a longtime LOTRO player. I think it'll be really fun. Yeah, and I think it is good that they have 2 servers still, just for like backups, to always have one that could be on. It's just good backup as well. But yeah, it's really exciting. And you know what else is cool? The fact that Standing Stones and LOTRO is investing the money to spend on this brand new hardware, brand new server banks, both in Europe and in Las Vegas now, with brand new 64-bit server, that tells me, which I've been telling you guys for a long time, and I feel very vindicated about this. But I was right. The game's not going anywhere, because I've had people telling me for years that, oh, LOTRO's going, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not. There's a big base community. There's a lot of people that play this game. It's awesome. And now the communities are growing, and this proves it, that they're putting all this time and effort into bring LOTRO into the new common technology, right? Of being, the 2020s technology level instead of, being older. And another thing that I was proven right on with this is that you can use the newer technologies that come out to make the older technologies be better and work better. Because a lot of people always said, oh, it's impossible to upgrade LOTRO because of the old engine. It's like, well, wait until new technology comes out, because usually new technology always gives you the ability that you didn't have before. So it might have been a true statement, a few years after the game came out, oh, you can't upgrade it because, it's an old engine. But, 15 years later, there's this new technology. Oh, look, we can use this to upgrade the old engine, right? Which is what we're doing, right? Well, what they're doing, not what they're doing. So very exciting for us, the community, that they're able to do that. But again, I've been saying that for a long time, so I'm very happy that all of this is happening. I think it's going to be very exciting. And with that, my friends and my kinship, stay tuned for my more videos on this. And to my kinship, again, no stress. Don't sell your houses yet. Anyone, wait. Let's wait until Cordovan puts out his information, and then we will talk about it. I will, to my kinship, I might have a couple fun votes on things, but I am going to choose what server and things like that because I'm the guild leader on that. So I'm going to be choosing that. But I've got some fun ideas for like housing and stuff. We might do some fun little votes on like what free housing area we want to be in and stuff. That's going to be something cool too. They're going to add more housing areas, dimensions for everybody, but also when we're all just getting there, we could all choose a housing area all together as kinship and all buy that housing area. So it's not like you're all in different neighborhoods as much. It doesn't really matter if you're all in different neighborhoods, obviously. It's not the end of the world, but it'll be cool when we all first join, all of us, because kinships will join and all pick a neighborhood and buy that neighborhood, So it'll be less of us all mixed around in all these different neighborhoods, and everyone will like be able to pick their own neighborhood as already built kinships. That's kind of it cool. That'll be cool too. All right. I'm done. Have a great day in Middle-earth, everyone. Stay happy. And again, don't worry about this. Stay chill. Thanks to Red for being a Royal Guardian and all my Patreons. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. And again, follow me on Discord down there. Check out Cordovan's video. Follow me on X and Facebook. And again, I will be letting you guys know all this, my kinship, and to my viewers, who are other LOTRO community players. I will let you know. See you guys soon. Thanks. Hope this helped.